What is good? What is good? I will say, every single time we get off the intro scene, the picture of Fancy with the football and the Packers helmet is absolutely hilarious. On the Fancy note, Fancy is not here today. Every fourth week, we will be having Marcus on the show. So, Marcus, welcome in and welcome back. Matt, how are we feeling? Everything's good? Lions win. Eagles win. And we'll get on that.
I thought,
all right, off to a hot start.
I thought Fancy was sitting out because the Green
I mean,
Bay
hey,
game,
I wasn't going to say it, Matt, but I'm glad you brought it up. No, a lot of fun, though. Last week, week 9, we gave you guys some of the stats. Matt, me, you, and Fancy, we had 11 same picks out of the 15 games. We did go 8-3. We'll get into the schedule and more records, stuff like that. But lots happening around the league. We got Zadarius Smith going over to the Lions. Matt, that's a huge pickup for you guys.
Yep, I knew it was going to be one of those guys.
And that could be why also Fancy's not here. That's the guy that the Packers did lose. So just saying, it is making a lot of sense. And then you got Marshawn Lattimore going to the Washington Commanders, which honestly for me, that just sets up the Commanders that they're all in on the season. They're 7-2 right now, and they are the real deal. And I mean they're going all in. Tre'Davious White to the Baltimore Ravens, which is huge for them because their secondary has been literally just Swiss cheese all season. And then Khalil Herbert to the Bengals. We did have 2 wide receiver trades. Both didn't really make a ton of sense in terms of certain teams. We had Jonathan Mingo go from the Panthers to the Cowboys, and then we had Mike Williams go to the Jets to the Steelers. The Cowboys didn't make much sense, and that's where I was going with that. And then Mike Williams, it didn't make much sense for the Jets. Makes a lot of sense for the Steelers because they didn't know a wide receiver too.
Yeah, they were reaching out. We saw preseason and during the season, right? They're reaching out for that extra piece at wide receiver. They missed out on who? Adams and Ayuk and probably somebody else too. So I mean, they knew they needed another piece. So it's good to see him pick up another wide receiver.
Yeah, no, absolutely. For me, the thing that I had for you guys with Mingo and Williams, obviously great for the Steelers, not throwing any shade towards them. The Steelers, with them, they get a 2x 1,000-yard receiver for a 5th-round pick. The Chiefs get a 7-time 1,000-yard receiver in Hopkins for a 5th-round pick. And the Ravens get a 1-time 1,000 receiver for a 5th-round pick in Deontay Johnson. And then the Cowboys give up a 4th-round pick for Jonathan Mingo. So what are we doing over there, Jerry? What are we? I don't know what's going on over there. Some other fun stuff that I have for you guys this week. You guys know I love my little fun facts throughout the week. The Chiefs have now won 2 Super Bowls between the Daniel Jones's most recent 2 touchdown passes at MetLife Stadium. So that's a fun little fact for you guys.
I love that stat.
Crazy.
Yeah, that stat is absolutely awesome. Marcus, one that you'll love. Shout out the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is the first player in NFL history with a touchdown pass, rushing touchdown, and a passer rating of 115 or higher in 3 consecutive games in the NFL. We did have a schedule flex. The NFL flexed the Colts and Jets out of Sunday Night Football in Week 11. It's being replaced with the Chargers and Bengals, which I think we're all in favor for. That'll be a fun one to watch for us. Kind of going your way with this, Marcus. Not even at the time that I screenshotted this, I wasn't even sure you were going to make this pod. But the most dropped interceptions this season, number 1, Matthew Stafford at 6. Number 2, Jameis Winston at 5. Tied for number 3, Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, and Jalen Hurts at number 4. And just so we all know, Jameis Winston has only played 2 full games. So, I mean, hey, you're a leader, baby. You're a leader.
And one of those was to lose that game, and it got dropped. So
yeah, one of those was literally hitting a linebacker in the chest.
Oh gosh,
there was a dot. I mean, really, it was
legitimately like. I mean, there was one in the end zone where no one else was in the picture. It was just straight at a defender, and it just drops. I'm like,
brutal, absolutely brutal.
We won that game.
Yeah. And speaking of quarterbacks not being very accurate, the highest inaccurate target rates for players with 25 targets this season or more. So obviously what that means is, the amount of targets they have and the inaccurate target rate towards that, right? Number 6, Roma Dunze, 22.7%. Number 8, Keenan Allen, 21.4%. Number 10, DJ Moore, 20%. So the big-headed 3 of the Bears are all in top 10 of the highest inaccurate target rate.
That's crazy.
Not great for Caleb Williams.
Does Caleb Williams know that he's right-handed or not left-handed?
I don't know. I think he's distracted with the nails. I don't know if he's figured that out quite. Maybe he writes it down. He could write down like lefty or righty or something like that.
Right.
His nails would be real pretty for him. The last one I have for you guys, which I was going to end on this one and maybe talk about a little bit, unless one of those guys one of those ones that I mentioned really stick out to you. But I want to transition to this, and I know Fancy would have had a great take on this. Baker has now forced 2 overtimes this season, and he's played 0 snaps in overtime. When is it time for the NFL to do something about that rule? I know it's different now in playoffs. We saw it in the Super Bowl,
Yep.
49ers, right? But when is it time that I mean, in a game where, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe the last time I looked at it, it was minus 450 for the Chiefs Monday night. And you got Baker going in there with Mike Evans down, Chris Godwin down, and they bring the back-to-back 7-0, or at the time, 7-0,
yep.
back-to-back Super Bowl champs to overtime in Arrowhead, and doesn't get to play a snap of football.
Yeah.
Not only is that taking it away from football teams that are playing in a competitive state of the game, but it's taking it away from the fan base.
Oh, I would have loved to see Baker get an opportunity. I mean,
in either one of those, I think the other one, I can't recall the other overtime game. I'd have to look through their schedule. Was it? Oh yeah, it was the Falcons. Yep. You're right. Because Kirk Cousins marched down the field and got them another win in the win column.
And Baker's reaction to that coin toss said it all too. I don't know if you guys caught that. As soon as it flipped, he just.
And here we go again. And I believe Joe Burrow was the other one who's been at or maybe it's Josh Allen, or maybe both, in playoffs before it got ruled over.
For sure.
They've been screwed over how many times? And it's not a Mahomes thing, and I'm not blaming that. It had nothing to do with the Chiefs. I'm just saying in general, when you see this happen, it's so annoying to just, I mean, a game coming down to a coin toss.
That's essentially what it is.
Let me say this though. Yes, I completely agree that the way it's set up is not the right way to do it. You're not letting them play football, especially when it's a great matchup like that. However, going into that, that's the possibility. So
why don't you go for it? Yep.
If you score the touchdown and you have the chance to win it right there, so it's one play under your control, go for 2, win the game.
Yeah.
So you got to play.
That's the tough thing as Todd Bowles, right? Is statistically that might be the right thing, but from a fan base, if you catch up to the Chiefs in a game that you should never have been close to, and then you throw it away in a bad 2-point conversion because you got two of your top red zone targets out, right? I mean, they were very heavy on Cade Otton. Sterling Shepard was involved a little bit, but we saw Rachaad White in the passing game a lot, and Bucky too. So it's like you're going to a red zone play, on the 2-yard line, whatever it is, with no big target to get you there. So that's kind of where I was looking into that too. And I'm just like, I think I still would have probably went for it if I'm the head coach. Obviously, I'm not. But from a fan perspective, you go for that and you lose.
Oh, it looks.
They're coming for your head because why did you go to overtime? It's Patrick Mahomes. You gave him a free win, and you got to take the chance. So it just sucks. There is two sides of it. I totally understand it, but
Dan Campbell would have gone.
I was just about to ask, what's Dan Campbell doing there, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and especially when you have David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs and fucking
that offensive line.
Well, you have Skipper and Penny Sewell who can also throw touchdown passes, and St. Brown, and you have 5 quarterbacks back there now, right, Matt?
Absolutely.
On that topic, last week, to get into the schedule, last week, Matt, me and you tied at 11-4 and 11-4. Fancy went 9-6. That puts Fancy at 83-55. It puts me at 82-56, and it puts you, Matt, at an impressive 89-49. So I'm creeping up on Fancy a little bit. Fancy's falling out, and Matt, you're just kind of skyrocketing away with the win. Even if I'm tying you every single week, I feel like the last 2 weeks that I have, I'm not making much room.
Doing my best
in that race. But still plenty of time. We're halfway through the season. So we're starting out with a great Thursday night football matchup between the Bengals and the Ravens. Me, Fancy, and Matt all took the Ravens in this matchup. Going back to the stats, with us going 8-3 in week 9, that puts us at 58-29 on the season when me, Fancy, and Matt all pick the same pick together. In the last 4 weeks, that puts us at 34-6. So the last 40 matchups that we've picked together, we've won 34 of them. So I like the odds going into this. I believe we picked 12 this week. Matt, correct me if I'm wrong. 12 out of 14, I think it was.
Correct. Yep.
12 out of 14. So
damn.
That's very shocking that we did that, especially with how Fancy likes to go against the ball quite a bit. But Thursday night football, Matt, your bold prediction this year, I think I sent it to you on TikTok. I sent you the TikTok. I don't know if you saw it or not, of you saying Derrick Henry is going to break the all-time rushing touchdown leader. So that's gonna be a fun thing to look back on. Tell me why the Ravens are gonna win this matchup, other than the fact that me, you, and Fancy picked it. So of course they're gonna win. You know?
Yeah, I love what they're doing on offense recently. They're getting the pass game involved. With Derrick Henry leading the way in the backfield, to be able to also do it in the receiving game as well sets them apart. To me, the downside of the Ravens right now was and maybe that's why Marcus will tell us about the stats against the Ravens, but it's the Ravens defense against wide receivers they've been absolutely awful, right? So I love the new addition at the trade deadline. They see that need and they pick up another defensive player. So to me, they see that and they're putting everything together. So I don't know. I don't love the defense. I love the offense of the Ravens. In a game like this, I think that's why they're -6 right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that stuck out to me right away when I looked at this was the over/under being at 42. Obviously that has to do with a Thursday night football game, but I think this could easily be 55 plus. I mean, realistically, it could be in the 60s. If both offenses come out flying, because we know the Bengals defense is not good, and neither is the Ravens. So this could be an absolute shootout. What leaned me towards it is every single week you guys hear me talk about there's certain teams I love at home, and the Baltimore Ravens have always been one of those teams. Coming off of a short week, teams that rely on the run on a short week do really, really well. We know the Ravens run the ball really, really well. One thing 2 weeks ago, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, when I talked about one of the biggest Eagles wins that we had against the Bengals was keeping the run game involved to slow up that Bengals offense. Because if you put the Bengals in an offense where they're in a shootout, they will go chip for chip with you, and they will go all the way in until it's until the time's off the clock.
Yep.
And so I think the Ravens with Lamar and Derrick, they can really just keep time of possession. And I think that's one way to beat the Bengals is keep time of possession, make Joe Burrow and them do things. We saw Joe Burrow come off, I think, 5 touchdown passes last week. So it's a hot offense, Matt. Hopefully, even if we're wrong in this pick, Matt, our pick of Joe Burrow being MVP is still well and alive. But that's kind of where I stood on that. So Marcus, let's see. I think, Matt, not to speak for Marcus, but I think that Browns fans are becoming the Bengals fan. You know what I mean? I think it's the same state, same
moving down the road,
same colors, kind of still the same letter B. Brown. I mean, Ohio. It's like you got to keep it simple for those Ohios. It's like they're not very complex. So.
So I kind of went against the grain a little here, but I get 100% what you guys are talking about, and the Ravens do have that offense right now to control the game. And man, is Zay Flowers just on a tear? I mean, he's looking kind of Tyreek Hill-esque. I mean, just a shifty little guy who's doing it. I mean, he can go deep. He's running the intermediate routes. I mean, he's doing it all. So loving that. They're getting the tight ends. I know that was a big fantasy talking point for a while, was Mark Andrews not getting them catches. Isaiah Likely had the big week 1, but now Mark Andrews last 2-3 weeks is coming into his own. I mean, they're turning on all cylinders. But I got to rock with my boy Burrow here. I mean, like you guys said, he's your MVP pick, and he's on fire. And I just really think that I think that the Ravens defense, especially their passing defense, like we discussed, just isn't quite there. And man, the Bengals have all them weapons. Brown's been good out of the backfield. I'm hoping they can get it done. I do, even if for the bettors in here, that +6 line, I think it's going to be a close game. I do think it's going to be a high scoring game. I like the over under as well. And we're going to see, but what a treat to start off the week 10.
Yeah. Zay Flowers to me, it's funny you say that, because Zay Flowers to me, as I kept looking through more, to me, I see the Tyreek Hill you're talking about, but Rashee Rice too. It's like I view them very similar to it, and I only think Deontay Johnson's going to complement him more. They're going to get him a lot more involved in this offense week. The second week that he's been involved in that Baltimore offense.
Yeah,
I think it was last matchup this season already, but I think this is where Burrow really stepped back into it. I think it was his 5 touchdown game. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins just lighting it up. We'll see if T. Higgins can play, but other than that, Bengals have shown that they can throw against this defense.
Yeah, they're never out of any games. I mean, when you have Burrow back there slinging around, Gesicki, the tight end, he's been having a good year. I mean,
and it's a big win for them, man. They're 4-5. I mean, You put the Ravens at 6-4. You beat them at home, and then you go to 5-5. I mean, you're still in that the AFC North race.
Yeah, that's a dogfight.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have the game in Germany. We're gonna go overseas for I think it's the one last game of the season. I don't think they're playing anywhere else besides Germany now. So this will be the first game in Germany. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it is the first one in Germany because I think we've only been in UK. I could be wrong. Maybe not.
I think they played one Germany game.
One Germany game. Okay.
Yeah.
So we, of course, we send over the best matchups we possibly could. So that
what
way
a treat.
So what a treat for the Germany fans over there. They'll get a lot. They'll love the NFL after this.
Mm-hmm.
The 2-7 matchup. We all took the Giants. Not really much to talk about here. It'd be nice to wake up to football early Sunday morning. I mean, that's a benefit of it for sure. I mean, who doesn't love football? The Bills-Colts game. I was surprised all of us went into this game picking the Bills. Not saying that I expect anything crazy at the Colts, but the Colts defense has been very good, and that Colts offense is a lot better with Joe Flacco. I think we all just agreed that Josh Allen and the Bills, with Amari Cooper healthy and Keon Coleman healthy, James Cook healthy. I mean, they're just going to get it rolling, and I mean they're kind of a tough train to stop once they get that offense rolling. But the Bears-Patriots, I didn't see. I don't know. You guys don't know, I run a dynasty league that Marcus is in, and he does have Caleb Williams. So this is kind of an interesting one where I can't wait to hear his thought process through this. I know I just mentioned the inaccurate target rate through Caleb Williams wide receivers, but I really don't think for me, Matt, that this matchup is. I think this is one of those where the Bears got to get back on track, because if they don't, we talk about it, they are spiraling right now after losing last week. And I had them losing last week, the Cardinals, and it wasn't a pretty loss whatsoever. It wasn't a close game whatsoever. So the Bears really need to get this kind of back in, because this is their last game. I talked about it 3 weeks ago. The 3 games that they had, they needed to win all of them, and they've only won 1. And so if they drop the ball out of 2 out of the last 3, I mean, I don't have their schedule up right now, but it's I know it's Packers, Vikings, Lions 6 times. And the next so it'd be week. So that they'd be 4 and 5 if they lose this. So 9. So they have 7 or 8 games left. So 6 out of the last 8 games are division rivalries. So, and I've also believed, I want to say that the 49ers in that schedule, and there's one more big team that's in that schedule too. So they don't have a single
49ers and Seahawks are the two,
and they don't have a single game that you can look at the schedule and say we should beat them. So they might split with rivalries, but still, if they go 4 and 5 and you split it, that still doesn't put you at above 500. So, and that's not going to get you in it with that powerful NFC North. So that's to me, they have to go 5 and 4 here if they think that they're going to get this back on track before they hit the heart of the schedule.
Yeah, I tried to do it last week. The coveted up-down theory of they needed that bounce back game. They proved me wrong. They didn't do it last week, so I'm still going to ride that theory of, all right, now it's 2 weeks in a row where they got to get their shit together now. And so against the Patriots, I mean, I know the Patriots have surprised us in a couple of these games, but I think this is the get it right game. They've got to beat the Patriots here.
Yeah, because I mean, coming from the Commanders lost that terrible last play, it's like that's gut wrenching, and then you get pounded on by the Cardinals.
Yep.
Like, you can't come out and lose the Patriots now. So but yeah, let us know, man.
So,
I mean, are you Drake May guy or?
I am a big Drake May guy, man.
Why come you didn't draft him? How come you didn't?
Dude, so I guess it was Trubisky for me. I'm gonna be honest. I had a little North Carolina thing going on where I wasn't gonna take Drake May, no matter how good he looked, no matter how many people came out and said he was gonna be the guy. I was just kind of like I'm an Ohio State fan, for instance. I would have stayed away from CJ Stroud, and look how that kind of turned around. So obviously these generational talents can come around. Not saying Drake May is right now, but he's off to a good start. He's making good progressions through the offense. He looks good. I do have a little buyer's remorse on picking the Patriots after I started delving into the stats. The Bears
I had to double check. I double checked twice.
Home.
I double checked twice. Because the Bears actually have one of the longest home winning streaks relating to back last year too. And so that's why I was like, man, that stat, the Patriots not looking good and they didn't beat a couple teams. I was like, I literally looked at it. I'm like, are we sure? Like, I had to scroll back up on text messages. I'm like, are you sure he picked this guy? And I'm like, okay.
Any given Sunday, right?
Yeah,
but
absolutely. No, absolutely.
And man,
football, man,
like you said, the last 2 weeks for the Bears, I mean, they really need to right the ship, not only for the remaining schedule, because I mean, I would say if they're being realistic with themselves, they're probably looking at the season at best being an 8-win season, 7-win season. But man, the inaccuracy rates that you brought up, did you not see it last week when these wide receivers were? I mean, DJ Moore literally walked off the field and sat on the bench during a play. I mean, I don't know if they're kind of turning.
He was like that. He was like that in camp too. He did not like Caleb. He loved Justin Fields.
Was a big Justin Fields guy, and I
he's
don't
a
know
quiet guy too. He never complained in Carolina. Never complained with Justin Fields. I mean,
he's been through some shit. You know, you think with Caleb Williams, you'd be buying in.
Yeah.
So really, just counting on some Patriots magic, some Drake May magic, and the Bears. They're a lot of that inaccuracy rates. I always thought were coming through that interior offensive line. I mean, just being so poor,
having so much success,
rush,
so confusing.
And I think the offensive line is really figuring it out. So it's kind of, I mean, the wide receivers don't really seem to have a lot of chemistry with them. There's something weird going on about that team that kind of made me pick against them. But the Patriots get it done. I'm sticking with my pick.
There you go. There we go. I mean, and two, not to keep on the Bears, we'll get to the next slide here. But I mean, if the Bears beat Commanders, which we all agree they should have won that game, they absolutely should have won that game. It should not have come down to that. So that puts them at 5-2 at the time. And then, last week, Cardinals, even if they lose that 5-3, they beat them here. That's 6-3. You go into that heart of the schedule at 6-3, then you actually have a chance at going above 500. I think if they need this win if they're going to even consider it 10 wins.
There's a weird culture thing going on because the previous week during the Hail Mary, you got 29. I forget his name off the top of my head. He's celebrating. He gets benched, doesn't show up to practice next 2 days. And now you have wide receivers walking off plays. There's some weird energy going on there. I'm taking.
He might be the next head coach fired. That's one thing we didn't say. Dennis Allen. See ya. Matt, you called it. You said he was going to be the first head coach ever, but
you said we're going to have to find the clip because I know, but in my head, that's who I saw was going to get fired. Obviously I did not see the Robert Saleh firing.
Was nowhere.
But yeah, I kind of saw that kind of prematurely on the hot seat, not, kind of just, he might be the one to get fired. And maybe I was half right, but I did see him getting fired if they declined, which it's been bad past couple weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. We all took the Chiefs in the Broncos game. The line's at -9. I think it will be a closer game, just like that Bucs game was. I know we all took the Chiefs last week, but I did emphasize that on that Monday night game, Matt, of this game. I think it was like -9 in that game too. And I was like, I don't think it's going to be, a huge blowout and it ended up being an overtime game. I think the Broncos defense can definitely keep them in this loop. We've seen flashes of, wow, I just drew a blank on Bo Nix. Goodness gracious. I don't know why I was stuck on Will Lutz. I don't know why Will Lutz was coming to my head. I was like, that is not the quarterback. But we've seen little flashes of him. I don't think it's enough to get it done, especially in Arrowhead. So we all took the Chiefs in that one. Falcons, Saints. All of us took the Falcons. The Saints, we just talked about Dennis Allen. Not there anymore. I don't know who their replacement is at the moment. I'm not really sure.
I saw who the interim was, and it's like the last name is like Riz something. That's what they were saying, but it's like a play on Riz.
Maybe it'll bring some spark. But yeah, we all took the Falcons. I mean, it's pretty simple there. New head coach. The Saints just have not looked good literally since the first 2 weeks when they scored 45 plus a week. And the Falcons are really starting to get things going. They really are. So
leading the division by 2 games.
Yeah, this will be a big win for them. To get them to 7-3 and really keep making way in the NFC South. But probably the 2 matchups of the week, on this slide at least, the 49ers and Bucs and the Steelers and Washington, we full split through the pod. Full split. Me and Marcus went with the 49ers, and then Matt and Fancy went with the Bucs. Obviously, the Bucs looked great on that last Monday Night Football. Matt, so I'll let you go first, and then we'll lead into me and Marcus's argument.
So I'll tell you what's scary first is McCaffrey.
Yeah, he's active.
If he is, 100%, which I love how much time they've taken. Fantasy owners are probably with that number 1 pick are probably pretty upset. But I really do think that they were planning, for the long game here. They made sure he's going to be 100%. So if that's the case, he's going to get right back at it. So it's going to be a tough offense to stop with him back in there. But on the same token, we've seen Tampa Bay match up against anybody. The offense looks amazing. I was doubtful of how they were going to be able to figure things out without 2 of their stud wide receivers, but they've found a way, again, with that kind of split backfields and with their tight end, Cade Otton, they found a way, Baker has anyways, to just distribute the ball and still look like a good offense. So to me, I kind of saw it as an even matchup, and then how we always say home field advantage kind of pushed me over the edge with siding with Baker.
Yeah. Mark, I'll let you lean off with the 49ers.
Yeah, I'll kind of pick up off where the Bucks with you, Matt, is they're kind of like the Cardinals in a way, where they don't really have that top echelon of talent. Maybe they're not quite, you wouldn't pick them to be a playoff team with the injuries considered, but they just seem to get it done. I mean, they've been giant slaying, like I said the last time on the podcast, where they've beat some really quality teams. So it wouldn't shock me if they pulled it off with the 49ers. I just think the 49ers really need this game. Sitting at 4-4, they're kind of a little Super Bowl hangover, I guess. I don't know what they're going through, but maybe they're starting to figure it out right now. And I just think they have too much talent to lose this game. They said CMC is going to be kind of a split backfield with Trey Mason. So maybe he gets his touchdown. He scores a touchdown in every damn game, it feels like. But we'll see. It's definitely going to be an interesting game, and I'm thinking it's going to be a close one as well.
Yeah. I think for me, it went for the injuries for me, like with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin out. Like Baker is doing everything he possibly can to keep his team into it. If they get the ball at overtime in Arrowhead, it could be a win. Who knows?
Yeah.
And that honestly, if you just give him the ball and that game ends up, or they win the coin toss, and it might have flipped my decision on this. But with CMC possibly back, splitting it, whatever else, he's just so explosive that even if he gets 10 looks, he's going to be ready to go. Like with those 10 are going to be a good 10. It ain't going to be a soft, lean them in. Because they're not going to lean him into games like slow to get him there. He's there. They just want to be careful with the usage. You mentioned the Super Bowl hangover, whatever else. I just think they've been beat up with injuries, man. I really do. Every week, Ayuk, the holdout and not getting a lot of practice time. We see him dropping passes. Then you got Debo out like 5 different times, it feels like, this season, with a bunch of stuff. Like he literally was sick. Like literally an illness, and then his leg. It's 100 things. Kittle always questionable. CMC out. Like they're doing whatever they can. You see guys like Juwan Jennings stepping in. Matt, me and you called a week waiver or like weekly waiver wire pick with him early on in the season, and he's still, I believe, the number 1 receiver at the moment. In receiving yards at least. Kittle actually might have passed him last week, but
solid.
I just think with getting CMC back, I think they gain their identity back, and I think that for me is what. We're talking about they're missing. They're 4-4. Like you said, man, it was a smart decision for them. It's a scary thing with CMC is, they're 4-4 without CMC. What other team in the NFL is going to be 4-4 without their lead horse?
Best player,
Mason's been great, but that 49ers defense or offense has not looked the same without him. And we thought he was joining a juggernaut team, but I think he's the one that makes it a juggernaut team. Not disregarding any of their talent. Ayuk out for the season, whatever else.
He really tips the scale.
I think that does it enough for me. With them being 4-4, they if they win 6 out of 9, which with CMC back is very doable for them, they still make playoffs with 10 wins. And so I think this is one of those wins that they got to get. But I also think it's a big one for the Bucks, because if the Falcons really do go 7-3 and they fall to 4-6, that division title that they've held the last 2 years is slipping out of their hands.
Yeah, they're gonna be hungry.
Yeah, and then we have the Steelers Washington game. Me and Marcus went the Steelers. Matt, you and Fancy went to Washington. I'll start with me and Marcus this time with the Steelers. For me, it just had to do with coaching. It has nothing to do against Dan Quinn or anything like that. It wasn't like a jab towards the Commanders. I just think, the Steelers 6-2. I believe they're coming off a bye week.
Yep.
Could be wrong. Yep.
3 straight wins and a bye.
3 straight wins and a bye. Rest up really good. Coming in with Mike Williams. Najee and Jaylen Warren both are going to be healthy going into this matchup. You got, George Pickens and Mike Williams now ready to go. And Russell Wilson has looked really good since starting, since being healthy. It's crazy to say in 2024 that Russell Wilson's still relevant as a quarterback, but he really is. dangerous. I mean, that's he really is. I mean,
Unlimited.
that's what I have to. He's unlimited, man. So I had to go with it. You guys know that I've picked the Steelers most of these matchups throughout the entire season, besides that week 1 where they upset the Falcons. But that Steelers defense is legit, and I will always say it. TJ Watt is an absolute game changer, and I don't know if the Commanders, besides we saw them play the Bears. And this will be my last talking point. We saw them play the Bears, where the Bears should have won. That was probably the best defense that they've played. And we saw them. That's a game they should have lost. And I think the Steelers defense is just as good, if not better, than the Bears. And so that's where it kind of led me to believe that the Steelers will take this one. So,
yeah, I kind of agree with a lot of what you're saying. I have some fun little points here. The Steelers wins coming against Kirk Cousins, week 1 or week 2 before he really got him. Yep, Bo Nix, AR-15, Aiden O'Connell, Danny Dimes, and Aaron Rodgers early in the season. So they haven't really faced this top echelon quarterback, and I know I picked them because I AFC North guy, I know how tough the Steelers are. And man, coming off a bye, Mike Tomlin, 3-game hot streak. Russell Wilson looks great. They added another weapon. But at the same time, the 26 pass defense and the Commanders just added Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, a Pro Bowl type guy who can get it done. Jaden Daniels has been incredible. Honestly, arguably the best rookie quarterback season I've ever seen. I mean, it's got to be top 3. And he just is so wise beyond his years. I mean, the game looks slow to him. He almost looks like Cam Ward does for the Miami Hurricanes. I mean, it's just nothing's too fast for him. No look is too odd for him. He always seems to be calm, cool.
Kind of like CJ Stroud in his rookie year. He really did look good. He just got more. Jaden Daniels just got more mobility.
Better. Yeah. So definitely, I would say this might be my favorite matchup of the week. I mean,
I know I'm really bummed. It's a noon, or 1 p.m. Eastern. I really wish this was a prime time. So,
So what are your thoughts, Matt? You got the Commanders.
Yeah, so the last two matchups were the ones that I was torn at, and I ended up, being on the other side of you guys. But this is the one I really struggled with, because everything you guys are saying, the Steelers just look like a team that can grind out a win here, right? But maybe barring, Brian Robinson, hopefully being able to suit it up. I know it was against the Giants last week, so they didn't really miss him. But the offense does change because Austin Eckler, doesn't quite have the juice that he used to have, right? So I think with Brian Robinson in the backfield, and then get McLaurin, maybe on those go routes, you find him. I think that offense can outlast the Steelers defense if you get those pieces rolling, because like you're saying, Jaden Daniels looks wiser beyond his years right now. He looks like he's poised to be this starting quarterback for the Commanders. So, it's a tough matchup. It took me a while to solidify this pick. So, I wouldn't be surprised if you guys were right. I just think maybe I keep saying it every week for the Commanders, though. These are the games that, as this rookie quarterback plays, he's going to be that much more poised to make a long run and maybe a playoff push once he gets there.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
One thing for me too, though, like you mentioned, I'm not discrediting him whatsoever. He has looked absolutely great. But to be the devil's advocate in that thing, the teams that he's lost to, the Bucks and the Ravens, right? So good teams, right? And they should have lost to the Bears as well. But the teams that they beat, Giants, terrible. Bengals, week 3, terrible defense. He looked great. Cardinals, we talked about it. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they grind out wins, sometimes they don't. Same thing with the Bucks. Browns,
they have their moments.
and then the Panthers, and then that walk-away win against the Bears, and then the Giants.
The other way.
So which one has been? I mean, the most impressive win to me, I guess, would maybe be keeping up with the Bengals offensively, but realistically, Jaden Daniels' only good defense he's played up against this season has been the Bears, and it's not discrediting. We always say you can only play the teams that you're scheduled to play. I mean, that's the reality of it, right? So for me, not discrediting his rookie season, because I think he's an awesome quarterback, and the Commanders are having a great season, and I love to see it because it's competitive. It keeps the NFC East competitive, especially with the dog shit Cowboys in that division. But
biases.
what will he do again against a top team? And what I'm kind of concerned with, not to keep on it, is with TJ Watt with the ribs. If he gets smoked by Cameron Hayward or TJ Watt or one of those big quick Steelers linebackers, is he okay to get up with that rib protector on and everything else? You know what I mean? So it could limit some of his game, especially with the run game. So it's just, like I said, though, should be an absolute fun matchup to watch, though.
And then not to mention, you hope that doesn't happen because he's got a short week against the Eagles the following week. So
that'd be awful if that happened, right, Jake?
That'd be terrible. I would never want that. Yeah. I actually, going into this, it's actually funny because the only one that we agree with or we don't agree with on this one is the Jets Cardinals. So I'll just, Vikings Jags. I mean, in all seriousness, the Jags are seriously just awful. I don't even know how they have 2 wins this season. It's
surprised how close that line was.
Yeah, we'll get back to that because that's part of our parlay as well. But we all took the Vikings in that one. We all took the Chargers against the Titans. Easy 6-3 for the Chargers, or at least it should be. Just like it's an easy 7-2 for the Vikings if it goes through with it. But we see how those matchups work out sometimes. Sometimes you get a little surprise. But with the Eagles Cowboys, the one thing that really upset me was just the fact that Dak's not there, because when we beat them, it's going to be because Dak's not there. And it's going to be so annoying because that's just going to be the whole storyline of we didn't make the playoffs because Dak was hurt. It's like, no, you were 3-5 with Dak. You were 3-5. So you guys got Jonathan Mingo. So let's get it together now. Now you guys are a real competitor.
Here we go.
Here's the interesting part. Are we going to get Cooper Rush or are we going to get Trey Lance?
I think we're going to get. I think they said Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because why'd they even go for Trey Lance at that point? It's
that's what's crazy to me.
It's an upside.
When do you give them your first chance? So I do think this game, though, for the Eagles, complete unbiased, not even making a troll, I do think this game's going to get away quick. I think it's going to be a quick blowout, and backups are going to be in very, very fast. And I think the Cowboys will start that whole, they're going to have to look for next season. They're going to start shipping some guys. I think it's going to get ugly real quick, especially because Parsons is already saying he wants out, or leaning toward that way with some of the stuff that he's saying, at least. But the Cardinals Jets. You're on the other side of it a lot. When making the graphic, you see the names kind of across. I don't really pay attention because you're trying to get all the info in. And then when we did it, and there's 14 games, and me, Matt, and Fancy were 12 out of 14. I'm like, man, visually it looked like there was always one, whatever. And I realized it was you, which is kind of fun.
I'm going against the grain.
Yeah, it's the perfect pod to do it with, because it's it's a perfect episode because it doesn't just get me and Fancy to just all pick one pick and hammer the same topic, whatever else. So we get another perspective of it, because with a line of -1 and +1, I mean, clearly
it's a coin flip game.
Yeah, clearly it's a coin flip game. Matt, I'll let you start off with the Cardinals. We would have let Fancy go with the Cardinals because Oklahoma, and I think Kyler Murray, Oklahoma, Fancy, Oklahoma, Baker, Oklahoma, Fancy, Oklahoma.
Jalen Hurts, Oklahoma.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts, Oklahoma, Oklahoma, CeeDee Lamb, Oklahoma. So hopefully he listens to this. Shout out to Fancy. We miss you.
Shout out to
but Matt, give me the reason why you think the Cardinals will take this one after, the Jets just came off of their first somewhat good looking win.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still down on the Jets, even with that win. Love Trey McBride. He's got to get in the end zone on a receiving touchdown.
No more rushing?
He got a rushing. Yeah.
I'm saying no more rushing. You don't want him to.
No,
as a James Conner fantasy owner, I was thrilled last week that my running back had 100+ yards with no rushing touchdowns.
and then 3
different rushing touchdowns. Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Yeah.
No, I mean, you saw maybe you saw the clip. He was wide open in the end zone, waving, just saying, "Please give me this," and he can't hit him. I think if he starts to connect on those opportunities, then this offense looks a lot different. And then obviously, if Marvin Harrison. We saw 2 flashes, 2 weeks. We saw the flash out of him. I'm more confident in that Cards offense if they can get those 2 guys.
Going it'll be interesting to see. I don't know if we're going to see a Marvin Harrison, Sauce Gardner type matchup. I think that would be kind of cool, kind of like a youth of the league type matchup. The future. I will say I guess I have been a little bit more disappointed with Marvin Harrison's production. I don't know if it's necessarily him or just. Kyler Murray, not saying that Kyler Murray is having a good year, actually. He's actually top 10 in fantasy football. Not that matters in terms of NFL production, but, he's getting a lot done on the ground and he's finding ways to win. kind of just like Baker. Some ways it's like sometimes stats wise it doesn't look great, but he digs one through. I will say this is one that I was gonna lean towards the Jets quite a bit, but it's just one of those where when we're holding the records thing, we're in the Pick'ems League, Matt, too. Sometimes you got to pick your poison on which matchups you want to go against the grain on. And this one, I knew this is kind of the side that a lot of people will be on. And so I need to like not drop a game against you or not drop a game in the league too, of like, you kind of got to stay on that side. And so not saying that was a deciding factor, because I do think the Cardinals are going to win this game, but I definitely do see your side, Marcus, before you even speak on anything with the Jets, of they are coming off an impressive win. And the Cardinals do tend to win or lose some games that it feels like when they're favored, they lose. And when they're not favored, they win. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's just, that's kind of my perspective of it. So,
yeah. And like you said, the Cardinals are just one of those teams where you almost don't know what you're going to get. Like sometimes they're like kind of similar to the Jets, where like that offensive identity just doesn't really click. Like you said, Trey McBride has, off the top of my head, 46 receptions. I think the next closest is Marvin Harrison with 26. So, with Kyler Murray running around, and then the tight end leading the receptions by so much, and then James Conner's been a sneaky one too, 6th in the league in rushing yards, which
was my pick. Do you remember in the beginning of the season?
I know
you were high on Trey Benson. And I was like, he's a top 10 back. I promise. Like I know.
And I was not a James Conner guy. I wasn't when he was with the Steelers. Maybe it's a little Browns bias. He's proved me wrong, and honestly, such a good story from surviving cancer and beating cancer throughout college and stuff. So it's hard not to root for that guy. That being said, I'm taking Aaron Perk Rodgers. He's like, get it. He's back. He's got another weapon. Devontae Adams looks good with him, and I mean, they just have that big 3 and now big 4. There's just so much talent there. I mean, that what's been kind of odd now that they've won a couple games is how the role of Braylon Allen's kind of went away. When I know you were really impressed with him, Jake, and the youngest player in the leagues, such a good talent. But I just think that the talent on the Jets offense is to be too much to ignore, and they're pretty good against the run their run defense is pretty good. And I think if the Cardinals become one-dimensional in that game and Sauce can shut down Marvin Harrison, I don't think Trey McBride can win them a football game against a pretty talented roster.
Yeah,
so it was a coin flip.
Yeah, that's absolutely where that's kind of where I was leaving the Jets too. Is a lot of people are, I think they just put Allen Lazard on the IR. I could be wrong. I want to say I saw him go on the IR.
Correct.
They get rid of Mike Williams. So that frees up the wide receiver. And what that does, honestly, is it makes it more clear for them. We have Devontae Adams, we have Garrett Wilson, right?
Yep.
We saw Garrett Wilson he's been great since Devontae Adams has been there. We thought his production would go down more, but it's or go down less, but it's been through the roof, right?
Yep.
At one point he was still leading the league in targets. I mean, he's, so I think that clears it up for them. Maybe it cleans up the game, you know what I mean? Getting Brees involved and whatever else might get the offense flowing a little bit more. I think Fancy, when you nailed like the Cardinals with how they are sometimes, I think Fancy last week mentioned something. I don't remember the wordage because we all know Fancy's got his fancyisms that he uses, but they're one of those like playoff breaker teams where they will beat a team and fuck up their chances to make playoffs and whatever else. And so this isn't one of those matchups where that matters, you know what I mean? But when we talk about the Cardinals, they will win some games where it's like, no, they're not going to win this game. And it's against the 7-2 Lions or whoever else. And it's like, what the hell was that? That was the most organized football team we've ever seen this season. You know what I mean? And so I do see the Jets. And like I said, I pled my case of why I went with the Cardinals. But another one that's definitely a coin toss on the slate this week. This week, though, we do have the Packers. And it could be why that's why Fancy's not here. The Packers are on a fucking bye, dude.
Like, he misunderstood.
He misunderstood. I mean,
figured it out.
I mean, dude, he's literally an owner of the Packers. I don't know. I mean, Marcus, he said it on the pod. I don't know if you know that, but he actually is an owner of the Packers. He has the certificate and everything. So maybe this is his week that he's just taking it off. Like literally, he just didn't want to deal with the consequences of the Lions beating him and Darius Smith getting traded to the Pack or the Lions. So I don't know. But the Packers on a bye, Seahawks on a bye, Raiders and Browns on a bye. I don't really think it matters for the Raiders or Browns on a bye because I don't think anyone's.
Oh, it feels good for me.
I don't think. Yeah,
can't lose on a bye.
He's like, I can turn on football and not even have to worry about it anymore.
I'm gonna enjoy my Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say we'll just get rid of but we'll just talk about the Monday Night Football game right away. We all took the Rams. Dolphins still just not figuring it out. The Rams, all their targets back and healthy. I don't think they're going to move on from Kupp this year, which is kind of cool to see. Some loyalty there, right? And they do have a chance at winning that NFC West because if we look at the roster or look at the things, I believe they're leading the NFC West right now. If not, they're tied with the 49ers because the Seahawks are 4-5. Or no, it's the Cardinals. Cardinals are 5-4.
Yeah, the Cardinals.
So they're right
Cardinals
behind them there. So
That's
that NFC
they're all
West is one of the
close.
tightest races in all of football. So they need this win. It should be hand gifted to them. They should have no problem beating the Dolphins unless the Dolphins figure it out. But I will say I was really surprised. I'm happy for you, Matt. Like I don't want anyone going against you. Like I do like the Lions. I send videos of Dan Campbell like hype videos to Fancy all the time, and we talk about how awesome he is, dude. Like any coach,
he's a
or any
football
team
guy.
in the NFL would love him as a coach. But I still will say I was very shocked to see all of us, not only just me, you, and Matt, or me, you, and Fancy Matt, but Marcus, you as well, go with the Lions with the Texans at home. I just thought maybe one or two of us might go to that Texan side, especially with Nico Collins back. Like you said, Tank Dell looked great. Joe Mixon has looked awesome.
Great year.
So, Matt, I mean, tell us why all of us are going to be right and why the listeners should just follow us and lead us to victory under Dan Campbell's, three-legged Lions.
Yeah, just like you're saying, I think a lot of people are buying into the Lions. Like a lot of people see something special happening this year that, the offensive juggernaut they are, that you don't know who they're going to throw it to, who they're going to run it to. They're going to scheme something up for you every play. They're going to go for it on fourth down. They might fake a punt. That's the team they've become this year, and 7-1 shows it right now. Right. So it's a cool feeling to have more than just the Lions base, kind of buy into them right now. So I think the Texans are a different team, with Diggs, who's out, unfortunately, with Nico, who, he's trending in the right direction, but we'll see if he plays or not. They're a different team, but I still don't think they can match up against what the Lions are. Yeah. What they're becoming right now. So they fill, and you saw my TikTok probably, a couple weeks ago of go out and get me a defensive player. I know you can't replace Aiden Hutchinson. You got to go get somebody. And it was kind of scary for a second there, is this going to,
it didn't seem like something was going to happen. Yeah.
Is this deal going to actually get done? Even though the names were, floating around that Zadarius Smith was coming, they just didn't agree on compensation yet. Well, we're getting to Tuesday. Trade deadline's at 4. And then he tweets out, at 8 a.m., that it, shake my head, was it not going to get done? So glad we got it done. We definitely need that extra piece. He is that playoff piece that I think sets us to that next level. I know I have high hopes for Super Bowl this year, but I think he's that piece that, because we don't have Aiden, I think we need that extra piece. Other than that, I'm excited because this is my game that I thought with this one and the Bills coming up. Those were the ones that were going to be tough towards this end of the second half of the season. So, I'm glad we're in the position we are.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially coming off a Packers win that Fancy avoided, that we're beating them in Lambeau, with St. Brown's awesome celebration.
I think that's another fact. Sorry, real quick. I want to bring that up. 30 straight completions to Amon-Ra from Jared Goff. That's so
just
amazing,
like Caleb Williams to DJ Moore.
The opposite. Yep.
That would be what it looked like for a quarterback to complete a pass.
Right.
No, so that's a great set, and that shows what the offense is doing right now. They're I'll step off my soapbox for a second, but that just shows how this offense is kind of just, Ben Johnson has just found a way to, he's gonna get it to the man that's open. He's, Jared Goff doesn't have to make these 2-3 reads. He's throwing it to the open guy, and it's working great.
Yeah, I will say, as a Lions fan, for you got to be a little bit worried that he's already talking about head coaching and offensive play calling.
I was just about to say
that.
Yeah,
he's already talking about it. I know last year you guys, somehow kept him, but if you guys go deep in playoffs again, even if it's just an NFC championship, there's no way that a team doesn't throw an unbelievable amount of money from him. And it's probably going to be the Panthers, where we just see his career just go away anyways. But one of the funny things for the Lions to stick out to me is hearing the teams that they beat come out and complain about like the pettiness or the, unsportsmanlike type of plays that you guys run and whatever else. And it's just like, it's so funny to me because it's like you guys are getting beat on plays where a lineman's throwing a touchdown and like this guy,
Right.
they're doing the switcheroo, whatever the hell you guys called it. What was it?
Hook and ladder, shake and
hook
bake.
and ladder and what you guys are doing all this crazy fun shit that everyone in football loves to see. I mean, every single time someone sees it, it's like they jump on the seat like, holy shit. Like whether you're a Lions fan or a Bears fan or Pack, it's like you were like jumping on your seat of like, what? That was explosive, you know? And then you see these DBs and the linebackers actually complain about it and teams complain about them running up the score and whatever else. It's like, then play defense. Like that's, you know what I mean? I like you cannot be that soft in the NFL of like that. And I look at it from a perspective, and I could be totally wrong, and I'm sure you hope that I am right. But like I said, I could be wrong. But think about like my mind went to they're running all of these crazy plays, all of this crazy nonsense. Think about the shit that they haven't even ran yet. Like when you go to when you go to study them, though, you have to include this to look out for this. Do you think that there's not legit plays that they're going to run when they're down and out in games that teams have never saw this season that are legit plays, like two St. Brown, two Jameson Williams, two Gibbs, two like excuse me. It's almost like they are distracting you with what they could do if they want to do it. And to me, that's the scariest thing is like they have you guys at such a lead that they're running like practice plays on you guys just to fuck around and see if it works. And then teams have to actually include that when they play you because it's like the Chiefs effect. You have to look out for all those weird, wacky plays that Andy Reid calls because it's a legitimate chance that they beat you on one of those plays. Yeah. So, and I said Daniel. Yeah, I know him on a personal basis. So I'm going to call him Daniel Campbell. He actually might beat my ass just for calling him that now that I say that.
Might bite your kneecap.
Yeah, exactly. But he's not afraid to call it either. That's a coach that with all those plays up his sleeves is he will call it on 4th and 2 in an NFC Championship game to win the game. He's not afraid of it at all. So that to me is where, I know that has nothing to do with the Texans game, but I mean, Matt, you nailed it with that. But I do think that's something looking forward of like, they're going to be a playoff team. They're probably going to win the NFC #1 seed with the way it's trending. It's like, that's something to look out for is like there's a lot of things up their sleeve that's what scares me the most about that team. It's not even matter of defense because the Chiefs have proven that you can have a mediocre defense, middle of the pack, and still win Super Bowls. So
now, and I think, I think it was our local sports station 97 Won the Ticket. I think it was one of their guys asked him point blank, are you guys afraid to use all these trick plays? Because then you're running, and he point blank said, it runs deep. Playbook runs deep. We've got plenty more of those. So right on to your point.
Yeah. It's probably just a few that they're just like, yeah, if this works, it works. If it doesn't, we'll try it back another week. Like they don't really care. It's like the ones that just like, let's just see if it will work. You know what I mean? Like, so it's dangerous. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
The next thing we have is the DK segment. Fancy is not here, so I will speak on his behalf. But last week, your boy took the lead and won from 161.
Came down to Monday Night Football.
Yeah, came down on Monday Night Football. Matt had Cade Otton and DeAndre Hopkins. I had Cade Otton and Kareem Hunt. I had a little bit of a lead. Obviously, you see the points. Like you did put up more points with them. I had a little bit of a lead going into the week into that Monday Night matchup, but it was definitely a big one for me. Darnold played great. Hunt played great. Smith, who I thought obviously would have a good week. Sutton was the one that I really nailed. Matt, you mentioned to be like pre-pod of like that really surprised me. I told you guys last week it was kind of my pick of, they have to keep up with the Ravens and they have to throw to someone. Sometimes that's just my logic. If they have to throw the football, someone's got to be the beneficiary of that. Yeah. Obviously, Matt, me and you with Cade Otton was great. Chargers defense was amazing for me. Fancy's really only stickout player was Bowers and Swift. I also had Swift. But for you, Matt, I mean, Bijan and Mooney, you double dip with the Atlanta offense, and it kind of worked out for you. But Hopkins and Otton really, really sticking out for you there. So that puts the lead at me with 4 wins, Fancy with 3 wins, and then Matt at 2 wins. And then for this week, I mean, hey, look at those sexy players. Look at that. We have nothing
going on.
We have, it's like that when it got to my screen, my brain, when I first saw it, I was like trying to like look at, there's so many different colors and jerseys, purple, pink, red, orange, blue. It's like like my eyes can't even go, like they can't even pick where I want to go. But starting out with me, Marcus, I saw you went with Russell Wilson as well. I do like the defensive matchup for him with the deep ball with George Pickens and getting Mike Williams. I've been a big fan of DeAndre Swift all season long. He's done great for me, averaging 16 points, especially the last like 5-6 weeks. He's been phenomenal. Tracy looks to be in a good position to have a great matchup against the Panthers in this one. The worst ranked defense against the run game. And I mean, when he's healthy, he's been getting the workload there. Deontay Johnson, just one of those where cheap price. With Zay Flowers getting all the attention, they're going to have the game plan around him. Like we talked about before, this could be a shootout matchup in Thursday Night Football. Just bubbled up Russell Wilson and George Pickens. Had to go with St. Brown in this matchup because I do think this matchup could be a fun shootout Sunday Night Football, Matt. So I thought you'd like that St. Brown pick. And then I went double tight end for you, Matt. I found this is my first double tight end of the season. I don't know if I get like a pin or like the voted thing. Like, do
all
I get
three
like
of us are rocking it?
I was gonna say I almost put
Fancy. Yeah, Fancy didn't.
I almost put the box around all ours when I saw it, but Fancy blew it. But yeah, I love that you guys are coming over to the double tight end side.
I ran out of money, bro. I picked St. Brown. I looked, it was 3,700, and I was like, well, Jonnu Smith has like the most chance at like he's had like 2 games this year where he had like 20 plus points where he just randomly popped off, and I'm just like, fuck it, we ball. But Bears defense, I love the Bears defense against the Patriots, but yeah, I had to go double tight end. Evidently, Fancy doesn't like it tight. Is what he texted me to tell you guys on the pod. But Fancy won Sam Darnold, James Conner, Etienne. Not huge on Etienne this year, but I do like Conner, maybe just not against this matchup. So I would have loved to hear his side on that. Zay Flowers, though, we craved, Zay Flowers in that matchup. Hopkins coming off a great game. Don't know if I love the matchup against Pat Surtain as much. Jordan Addison, though, should be kind of in that Devontae Smith role against Jacksonville, if I'm being honest, in that second of, someone's got to get some targets and some love. He might catch a deep ball. Kincaid, I've been a big fan of Kincaid. I don't think he's really hit the ceiling that he hit this year. And then, Waddle and Lions for Mr. Fancy. So that is now your turn to I thought you went with like old lion running back. That's why I was like, I started looking, that's why I like hesitated. I'm like, no way he did this.
No, so I put on our TikTok on the top 5s. 46 game winning or OT for Stafford. So I'm gonna run that back. He got it done last week. So I'm gonna put him in there. And again, you guys, your quarterbacks were still pretty cheap, 5,900 for Russ. I love starting with a quarterback at 5,600.
Yeah, I teetered between. I will say I love Sam Darnold. Like I love Fancy's pick. I was nervous that they maybe got up too much. I get nervous in those matchups picking quarterback when they go up too much. And like you picked Aaron Jones. That's probably your talking point there. I didn't mean to steal it from you, but like he could be very involved in this game once it gets 14-0. So that's why I was like, I'm going to stay away from Sam Darnold, and maybe Russ is in a shootout. I don't know. So that's why.
Yeah. So that is my rationale. I think the run game is, that's the game script, right? Once you go up, you're just going to pound the rock. So that's why Aaron Jones has been the workhorse back. And then I think I talked about it before, or maybe in pre-production, but J.K. Dobbins, the run game needs to step it up because that Tennessee defense actually does shut down wide receivers. So to me, I know Herbert's been doing great as of late, but I think now this is a game where J.K. Dobbins can step in and get the run game going because of that Tennessee defense.
Another running back that I took that Marcus, when I sent him, I drafted James Conner and J.K. Dobbins. He's like, dude, I hate your running back. And I'm doing great in that league. So.
Oh yeah. I'll admit my faults.
And then obviously I picked Stafford, so I'm gonna do the stack with Kupp. He just gets thrown, when you get 10, 12 targets, it's hard to not have
more.
Yeah. It's hard not to have productivity. So and then an interesting one, I don't think I've picked Xavier Legette yet.
Think anyone has, I don't think. That's why I was like, and I saw this, I was like, I can't wait to hear this. I love it.
So I've picked, you got Deontay, for a different team this time, but you've got Deontay in there. I picked him a couple times. But now that he's gone, I think he's, Xavier has a chance and it's against the Giants. So
Thielen might be activated. I'm not sure 100% yet. He's still technically on IR, but he's able to be activated if they want him to be.
Yeah. So the reports I was seeing, because I did throw him in my IR slot, I picked him up, waiting for him to come back. He's been practicing. But I did see a note Wednesday's practice. He didn't participate, so that kind of pushed me to that. Xavier Legette might still be the target right now. And then we talked about that matchup, San Francisco Tampa Bay. I think Jauan Jennings has a great opportunity here to get back to that productivity. Same matchup. I've got Kittle. And then I kind of, even though we do the double tight ends anyways, because that's the best strategy. I ran out of
the person that has the least amount of wins in this.
I ran out of money, and so you see me with 3,100.
And he got targeted a lot with Herbert, man. He really did. I mean, he had like 10 catches that 1 week, so I don't hate it. Why did I not get a Bears logo? That's bullshit.
Yours has done that a couple times.
Honestly, you know what it is? They probably know that I'm from Chicago and I diss the Bears all the time. So like, you don't get no logo. You want to get our defense, you don't get no logo. All right, Mr. Marcus. You had like what, a 52-point game last time you were on here. You didn't even let us. You didn't even let us show
88 or something.
Yeah, you didn't even let us show it on the pod.
Fancy pulling 84 made me feel a little better. So
there you go.
So I got Russell Wilson off top. I kind of matched you up with that, Jake. I think that there's points to be scored in that game, and I think, man, there was a lot of talk about, was that the right decision? And I mean, Tomlin's that's why he gets paid the big bucks, right? As he kind of came out and said. I got Najee in that same game. I think if they are going to win this game, a lot of that game plan is going to be keep that ball out of Jaden Daniels' hands. And I think Najee's going to have a big part, just stomping that down.
Keep the time of possession down.
Yep.
I will say, just on the Russ topic, I just love. I mean, Matt, I think you've emphasized a couple times on the pod too with Russ, the deep ball that he can throw. Like George Pickens was a huge beneficiary, and with Mike Williams, I mean, people are gonna look at, he's not doing anything in New York. He was a monster in Los Angeles when they were able to use him. He stayed healthy.
Yeah,
he's not going to be behind Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson. It's like, not saying that he's going to take over, George Pickens' spot, but there's going to be some plays that are set up for a deep ball for Mike Williams, and I do think Russell Wilson's one of the best deep ball throwers like in the NFL for a long time. Yeah, he throws a good deep ball. So,
I mean, he throws that high teardrop that kind of just falls down in the bucket.
Especially if you can get Pickens, running a crossing route, and then Mike Williams running the go. I think that's going to be a tough decision for the DB to make. Like, he's got to decide who he's rolling with. So one of those two guys is just going to get that moon ball out of him.
Yeah. So then I got Bijan against New Orleans. I think the game plan is just going to come to him. I think he might see 20-plus carries this game unless they're really blowing him out. I mean, New Orleans are just kind of throwing in the towel at this point. Keon Coleman against Indianapolis. I think he's just coming into form. I know the stats really didn't show it this previous week, but he's just putting together performance after performance and getting better and better. I watched Steve Smith do a deep dive on him, like an update after his draft, and just saying how physical he is. And he looks so much more comfortable in that offense. And I think with Amari there, I think it just helps him out that much more, where he's not going to have that safety over the top. And he might.
We emphasize just having a guy like Cooper in there, right? I think you were on the pod when it happened. And it was just, it was a big thing, not only for Cooper to get out of the situation he was in, but I mean, you talk about how to train as a top guy. You talk about how to recover as a top guy, how to go into the film room and look at things, and it's So I did notice. I don't know if you're gonna have this as a talking point, but I did notice you picked 3 rookie wide receivers. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
did you not?
I didn't notice that.
I saw Coleman, McConkey, and Thomas Jr. I was like, wow, he loves this draft class. Like, good for him.
And it's coming into a good draft class. I mean, I really wasn't super blown away by there's a lot of wide receivers that went. Ricky Purcell's another one who might start to turn it on now that he's kind of back in the lineup and seeing some looks. But Ladd McConkey is sneaky. He's a wide receiver 19. And a lot of people don't really see that production from him, but he's getting targets. I saw him. He killed the Browns. I mean, third down conversions especially, he just seems to look his way, and he just seems like he's going to be Herbert's Mr. Reliable. And
he's going to be that Wes Walker, Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola type, And Herbert needs someone to throw to, dude. All he's got is Will Disley, and he's on Matt's team.
And Herbert was banged up coming into the year, new offense, new system. Those first 3-4 weeks, like you said, they were hammering the run game. I mean, no reason to stray away from it.
They were forced to,
And I feel like Herbert's kind of flying under the radar because I mean he's a top 7, top 8 talent. I mean, he throws the ball with the best of them. So I think that he's really going to start coming up for him. I think that Jim Harbaugh is really kind of giving him more leash. And once he takes off, it's going to be a sight to see. So I got Brian Thomas. He's just a phenomenal athlete. Yeah. I mean, that guy's just
I think one of us has picked him pretty much every week since like week 2 out of me, Fancy and Matt. Like every single week someone's picked him.
Great value at 6,600, and they're playing Minnesota. They're going to need to throw the ball. He's going to get them targets. A big Hunter Henry guy. Hunter Henry and Drake May got something going on too. I mean, he's feeding him the rock. So I like that matchup. Not that he's got a lot to throw to. So then Kittle's having a great year. I mean, last like 6 games, I think his worst game's like 47 yards on 6 catches. And then I just took the cheapest defense playing a hit or miss offense. So that's kind of where I went there.
Yeah, no, I like it all. Matt, did you have anything to chip in there? I thought I maybe saw you try to like.
No, I was just gonna say he couldn't quite get Jim Harbaugh out of his mouth. I think it was because he didn't want to say the M. He's used to that Ohio State. Can't say the M. Type
yeah,
thing.
Where did he coach?
Gosh,
do you know, Matt?
I was waiting for Marcus if he wanted.
Okay, no, yeah, I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, he got the best of us a couple times, but Michigan's back to the cellar where they belong. So
unfortunately, yeah,
unfortunately, it is kind of true. You guys look really bad. Like, hey, you got your national championship win, and now this year the Super Bowl win, whether it's the Chargers or whether it's the Lions, you'll
look so good, man.
You'll be happy. One more thing before we get to trivia, we do have the podcast parlay, which missed last week. I will say I hit it. So out of the 9 weeks, out of the 9 weeks, my 9 picks are 7-2. I missed the week 1 and then the week before. It was when Tyreek Hill came back. It was the week before last week where we that was the pick that we loved too. And honestly, maybe we just take away from anytime touchdowns unless it's Derrick Henry, because we took Tyreek Hill the week before last week. And we all loved it, and then he didn't score. And then last week we loved Jamar Chase against the Raiders, and that he did get tackled at the 1. I don't know if you guys saw that. He had a catch, he got tackled at the 1, which kind of hurt to see. But to get us back on track, because last time we did this with 4 people, it came down to we all hit, and the only one that didn't hit was Jayden Daniels, and that was the one Jayden Daniels that Fancy picked. He got hurt, and then Marcus Mariota continued to cover the line that we took, which just shows you if Jayden Daniels would have just stayed in, because that was when you took Drake May over passing yards in London. And so starting out at the top, we have Fancy taking 200+ yards at Kirk Cousins against the Saints. We all love this pick. I went with the Vikings at -198. We all 4 picked the Vikings in this matchup. I just think it's an easy layup win for them. Matt, you went with Joe Burrow over 1.5 passing touchdowns this Thursday. And then Marcus, you went with 50+ receiving yards for Zay Flowers this Thursday. So this will be our first week we throw in a Thursday picks into the parlay. It is $25 to win 107 and 75 cents. So hopefully we get back on the winning track. We still are up on the season so far. But I mean, we'll know Thursday if this thing's cooking. It'll be fun to see Joe Burrow throw 2 touchdown passes and Zay Flowers to have 150 yards.
Start us off right,
and then we'll know by noon. Since we did have 2 Thursday night, maybe look for that same game parlay plus boost or whatever they throw together.
Sure.
Even if you just want to pair those 2 together, those odds will probably look at least plus 250 if you pair them together with a boost. But yeah, that's all we have for you guys for that type of stuff. The only thing we have left is the trivia with Matt that everyone loves and everyone waits for and everyone can't wait to get to. So let's get on over there and see what Matt's got cooking up for us this week. Whoa, he's gonna host this.
Killing it with the music.
Oh yeah, this Marcus. It is fitting because I'm gonna throw you in the hot seat for this week's trivia time.
Throw him at the top. Spotlight on him
because we love the Browns so much. thought I'd put together a nice little Browns trivia for you.
Can you put on the Browns hat behind you just for, like you're thinking
reach.
All right, so for this week, I saw we all know of the one photo where there's a Browns fan and he puts a piece of tape and writes the next quarterback across his name. Okay. So I came across updated version of that. Someone made an awesome jersey with all the different quarterbacks. So what I'm gonna have you do,
There's room.
It was in three different columns. So the first thing I was gonna say is, do you know how many quarterbacks you guys have had since 1999?
So I'm in a Cleveland Browns Facebook page, just a fan. They call it Cleveland.
He runs it.
Cleveland Buzz. Or, yeah,
he runs it on Facebook. If you guys want to join and help him consultate this season,
I'm not gonna lie.
We'll leave the link down in the comments.
I left it for 4 weeks during this year. But between like weeks 2 and 6, I was just like, I can't see these people.
X, dude, he just keeps going back.
Oh, it was so bad. It's like when you forget about the game Sunday, you're just scrolling through Tuesday. You see like family picks, and then you see some random Joe Schmo about who the Browns should sign or they should trade. It's just like,
love it,
pulling my hair out. But I did see a number. I want to say off the top of my head, it was 38.
And so we are now at 39.
39
because Jameis Winston, had his amazing start and win. So out of those 39, can you name all the starting quarterbacks you've had since 1999? And first, I want to start with Jake. What do you think? What's the over under that we need to set 39. Here?
Okay, remind me. There's how many?
39.
39.
So let's give him some credit.
Our game is going to be. You're going to get involved in this too. Then I'll lay the line, and I'll lay the line. You tell me if you want over or under it.
All right.
39. There's 39 quarterbacks. How many will Marcus?
Those mid-2000s are going to be a mess. I'm telling you. I could probably get...
I think 32 and a half.
All right.
You think highly of me.
I'm going to go under. I was in the 20s is what I thought he was going to be at. So I'm going to go with the under. So
I think he's going to pull some 40. Crazy ones out of his ass.
40. If I had to guess for myself, I'd say 24. 25.
24 and a half?
Guessing.
All right. Let's get it.
I don't know. So obviously,
right, let me change the line. Then if he's thinking that, let's go 28 and a half. Let's go back down to the 20s. 28
I got to get 29.
All right, let's get it.
Because there's
you want Matt over under? You want under still?
I'm going under. Yeah.
All right.
And these are starters. These aren't okay.
Starting quarterbacks.
So starting off the rip, we came back in '99. You got Tim Couch. Tim Couch was our quarterback for 4 or 5 years, and he split time with Kelly Holcomb.
Are you keeping track, Matt?
Keep it rolling. Yes.
The line's at 28 and a half.
Spurgeon Wynn was in there as well, which was like the oddball. He was a former Steeler, I remember.
No idea who that is. And when I saw that, I was like, those are kind of the names that are going to stump you, but that's amazing. Yeah. Good job.
So now we're 99 to 03. 04, we trade for not Dilfer, Garcia. We go Garcia.
Great pull.
Holcomb's there too. I know just off the top of my head, I think we had both McCowns.
Great job. Luke and
okay. I don't know. So
Josh.
Now I'm drawn. Yeah, Luke and Josh. Josh McCown played for half the NFL, so that's usually a pretty safe pick. Now I'm gonna go off track a little. I'm in like 2006 right now and I'm stuck. Charlie Fry is right around there. Derek Anderson.
That was 06.
Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer's right in there.
Nice.
Johnny Manziel, Brian Hoyer.
Now you're cherry picking, but I like it.
I know.
How many is he at right now?
It's 11.
Did I say Charlie Fry?
You did.
Brady Quinn. Ty Detmer? Did Ty Detmer play for us? I feel like he played like a game. We had a weird where we used like 3 or 4 Lions quarterbacks. That might be a miss.
I don't see it.
Okay. Dicey Manziel.
Correct.
Delhomme. We had Jake Delhomme for a season.
Yep.
Who was our own 16? Kaiser. Deshaun.
Great pull.
Jason Campbell was a weird one we had in there.
15.
Brian Hoyer.
He said that.
Oh, sorry. Who's that old ass dude we drafted? He was like 27. We drafted him out of Oklahoma State.
That was gonna be.
I thought he was gonna say Joe Flacco.
That was gonna be my hint. He was a 30-year-old.
Whedon.
Yeah.
Whedon. Because he was with because I really like their wide receiver Blackman. Remember he had like that crazy like almost 2K year in college.
I was thinking Oregon State, but you're right. I think it was Oklahoma State.
One of the orange and black.
It was the orange and black team. Yeah, that's.
So I'm totally drawing a blank. Mayfield, obviously the more frequent ones. Flacco, Watson, Winston, DTR.
Ooh, that's a good point.
You are
how many am I at?
21. That's 21.
I need
This
8
is
more out
gonna
of you,
be
pal.
terrible. Yeah.
You got 8 more in you. I can think of 2.
Did I say Derek Anderson? I like almost should have wrote these down. I have a pen and pad here too.
You did say Derek Anderson, 06.
Okay. I said Manziel.
Correct. There's a couple more.
Thad Lewis. Thad Lewis.
Who? I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, I don't even know how some of these guys are. Like, I've known a handful, but I don't even know how some. Like, I've never even heard of these guys.
There's a couple more recent history that you should be able to knock out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Recent history.
Like, one of them still playing in the NFL for sure.
Tyrod Baker replaced Tyrod Taylor in week 3 against the Jets and had that big coming out party.
There you
go. God, we had a couple of coaches too. I think we had Doug Peterson.
Yep. I was hoping you'd be able to pull that one out, but when I saw that,
that was just a fun fact one. We have another coach though. Shit.
You're at 24.
24 out of 39 is
and
crazy.
there is one more coach on there.
Seneca Wallace.
Nice.
Seneca Wallace. He actually had like 3 or 4 really good weeks for us.
3 or 4 really good weeks for us.
Dude, seriously, people
great.
got legitimately excited about him.
That is 25.
Robert Griffin III. My sister ran into him on the sidewalk after a game, walking down the sidewalk in Cleveland, and he stunk it up too.
He farted?
Yeah. Terrible flatulence. That's why he walked. He couldn't ride the team bus. I said
you guys have a bus?
I said Sean Kaiser.
They just have to walk.
You got to take the train. Yeah. The train. Derek Anderson. Did I say Brady Quinn?
Yep.
Dude, I'm like running on fumes here. I said Garcia.
Yep.
I said Holcomb. Mm-hmm. I said the McCowns. Dilfer, Charlie Fry. And that's the mid 2000s is where it gets like the mid to late 2000s is where it gets weird for me. Oh Jesus, man! That might be it.
Are you calling it?
Well, what's a recent one that you guys can?
Mine was.
You got any hints for me?
There's three essential like backups that I think you should be able to name in recent history. Are you calling it though? And then we'll try to walk you through a couple.
When were the backups? What year?
21, 22.
Oh shit.
That's what I'm saying. You know those names. You got to be able to do those ones.
What is the line at right now? He's at 24.
He's 26 right now.
When Baker
He's at 26.
When Baker went down with the shoulder.
Dude, I need you at 29. You need 3 more.
And you know these 3.
Keenum.
There we go.
Oh,
Keenum's
wow.
one.
I forgot
What?
Keenum spent time there.
Oh, Patriots quarterback. Brissett. Jacoby
There we
Brissett.
go.
He played for us for 1 year.
I always think of him as a Colt.
Mm-hmm. He's been another guy who's kind of bounced around quite a bit.
All right, so the line's at 28, and he's at 28 right now.
He called it though. I don't know.
Did I say Dorsey? I said the 2 coaches.
Well, no, you said there was another coach, but you did not. But yes, Dorsey.
Ken Dorsey.
Yes.
There it is.
Keep going. You're at 29 out of 39. That's ridiculous, dude.
All right, the other backup that I thought you'd be able to get most recently
What year?
At 21. He went from there to the Vikings. And then I think San Fran, where he had a couple.
San Fran? No, I'm thinking
of
so.
maybe it's right now San Fran.
I'm thinking of the ex-Tennessee guy who's a NASA.
Can I chime in since he already beat the line?
Yep.
No, remember the Tennessee? He played for Tennessee.
It's not Dobbs.
The bald guy. No,
who?
I'm drawing a blank on his name. The bald guy. He was a NASA intern.
That's Dobbs.
It's not him. It's not him.
That's Joshua Dobbs. Yeah, that's Joshua Dobbs.
Oh yeah, we cut him.
Yep.
And then Watson went down. Everyone was
Wait. So
pissed.
who are you referring to?
That's what I was referring to.
Eyebrows. You'd have to see him to know. You'd have to know who I'm talking about.
Eyebrows.
So he just stepped in for the Vikings before Dobbs went in. I'm pretty sure. And then I think it was for 49ers recently as well.
Oh my gosh. Is it Mullins?
Yep.
Dude.
Nick Mullins?
Yes,
Nick Mullins
dude,
started
Nick
a game
Mullins,
for us?
Dude. Oh my gosh. As soon as you said that, I'm like looking through like who the hell did they have last year?
Yep.
Wow. Still, the fact that the line was at 28.5, you hit 29 is kind of insane. Like,
and
just
you were
in general, like
you were stumped at 26, but you were able to get right over that.
Yeah,
so what a great line! What a great line.
But yeah, great line in general.
there?
But what a crazy fact that he can list 29 out of 39 quarters.
So
who'd I miss?
Another glaring one that I don't know how
worst.
the hell you missed it. Colt McCoy.
Oh my
gosh! I missed Colt McCoy.
That one hurts.
That was right.
All right, hey,
unfortunately,
unfortunately, you can't be a Browns fan anymore. Oh no, what team would you like to?
Right.
And then 23, PJ Walker stepped in.
Oh, that was so recent.
Jeff Driscoll.
I would have never thought
I knew
of
all
that.
these names though.
Cody Kessler in 16.
Cody Kessler, the USC guy.
Wow.
Kevin Hogan in 17.
Kevin, that was like a one game and done guy.
Austin Davis in 15.
In 16, 15. Yep.
Cody Kessler in 16.
Yep.
Connor Shaw in 14.
Connor Shaw. Wow.
He's like, that guy does my accounting now.
I don't remember that at all.
Wait. Oh, wait. You got to help me with this one. Bruce Gradkowski.
Bruce Gradkowski.
And then you said it in passing, but I don't think Ty Detmer.
I thought I said Ty Detmer super early.
Nope. You skipped over him.
Still extremely impressive that he kind of basically knew about 33 of those guys. Like he could have gotten probably at least 32, 33.
So this is
I've
the
seen
graphic.
That jersey so many times.
Yep, this is the new graphic that I had not seen yet.
That's new because usually it's the duct
dude. You should get one.
Names down the back.
So this one's pretty cool. But the best part about this one is look in his right hand. He has a Browns Power Rangers. So awesome. He doesn't even want to show his face. He throws the Browns Power Ranger on.
Better than the brown paper bag, I guess.
But that looks like it's a corduroy jersey also for some reason. Maybe it's the photo. I don't know.
It might be the photo, yeah.
That took some work.
Wow. Yeah, that's impressive. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. I was watching Bruce Arians talk about his best quarterbacks ever of all time, like, and obviously he's coached some like great ones, and he brought up Tim Couch as being one of his
really
like top guys, yeah, who just, and obviously you're with the expansion team, and man, he I forget the stats on it, but his quarterback hurries and his stacks for his first 4 or 5 years were like a record for a while. And he just took a beating. But they said take the intelligence, the arm, the mobility. He tried to name his perfect quarterback, and he said, just give me Andrew Luck. I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, Andrew Luck. Wow, what a name.
Yep.
But no, that was fun. That was cool. I definitely didn't. That was kind of impressive. I'm not gonna lie. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the episode. Hopefully you guys at least gained something from our picks and some of our DraftKings and fantasy inputs. We hope that you guys obviously enjoy it. Marcus, thank you again for hopping in when fancy can't make it. We appreciate you having you. We love having you. Matt, Marcus, anything left that you guys gotta say before we let the folks go?
No, good.
I think we got a great slate of games. I mean, there's 3 or 4 games that are like almost must-watch TV. So it's a good week to be a football fan.
Absolutely, especially when the Browns are on the bye.
Better week.
Shout out to Matt though. When this is wrapping up, we do have an outro, so we're gonna try to test the outro for the first time. So bear with us if there's any technical difficulties. But please make sure you guys are following on our socials. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and drop a like, share it, and everything like that. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yep.
Later.